What's going on, guys? Another day, another tier list. And this one is one of the most controversial ones, I gotta say. Top 13 players of all time. I'm gonna try and categorize them based on, GOAT, top 5, top 7, whatnot. And we're gonna see how this turns out. I really don't have a solidified top 5, top 10, top 13 list, so it'll be interesting to see how I rank these players. Let's do it. I'm debating on if I should start based on the players here or if I should go just based on the tiers. I think I'm gonna just do it by tier, and I think we're gonna start at the very top. Why not? Who is the GOAT? Now, I've already made videos on this, and I think it's between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. For me, I have to go LeBron James. LeBron James is the GOAT, and here's why. I mean, we talk about 10 NBA Finals appearances, 4-time MVP, all-time leading scorer. He has a very long resume, and the debate really is between LeBron's rings and Jordan's rings. That's what Jordan supporters are going to argue, that Jordan is 6-0, LeBron is 4-6. I have a ton of points about this. I think LeBron's finals competition was better. I think that LeBron has taken worse teams to the finals. I think Jordan was really helped by a great supporting cast and a great coach. And I think LeBron was more valuable. I think LeBron's the better player, the more versatile player. And yeah, I think that sums up my reasoning for why LeBron's the GOAT. Not taking away anything from Jordan, I just think LeBron's versatility as a player, LeBron's accomplishments, LeBron's value, and LeBron's longevity ultimately make him the greatest player of all time. That's my opinion, but I can see why you would put Jordan as the GOAT. So LeBron James is the GOAT in my opinion. Obviously, Michael Jordan is top 3. He is the second greatest player of all time. Goes without question. 6 NBA Finals appearances, 6 NBA Final wins, 6 NBA Finals MVPs. So Michael Jordan, impressive resume, 5-time MVP. And he's a completely dominant scorer. He's one of the greatest defenders of all time as well. Can't take that away from him. Clearly one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player of all time. Top 3, again, I think the top 3 is solidified. I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the 3rd greatest player of all time. I mean, obviously the leading scorer before LeBron James. I think he was a 19-time NBA All-Star. Amazing longevity. Absolute beast, absolutely dominant, especially on the offensive end. I mean, he was a 19-time All-Star. I believe he was a 10-time All-NBA First Team, 5-time All-Defensive First Team, 6 NBA championships. Yeah, Kareem has a very impressive resume as well, and he is definitely top 3 all time. Now, this is where things really get interesting, and this is where I'm having trouble ranking players. There are a lot of different directions I could go. I mean, some people have Bill Russell top 5. I'm not really a fan of having someone like Bill Russell that high up based on his competition. I mean, a lot of people have Kobe top 5, Magic, Shaq. It is really hard, especially when you're comparing different eras. And I'm going to try and do my best here. I think Magic is top 5. I think Magic Johnson is top 5. I mean, Magic has an unbelievable resume. 9 NBA Finals appearances. I believe he has 5 NBA championships. And, I mean, he was really dominant for his whole career. Obviously one of the greatest passers of all time. I mean, he's a 3-time Finals MVP. I believe he played, I want to say 13 years. And I think he has 12 All-Star appearances. So I think 13 years, 12 All-Stars. Not the longest career in the world, but definitely made the most of his time in the NBA. And yeah, I think Magic definitely deserves a top 5 spot. Who else though? So say I have Magic top 5, who else is top 5? I mean, I could go Kobe. I'm thinking either Kobe, Shaq, or Bill Russell. Or Wilt. This is so hard. A lot of people might disagree with me here, but I think I'm going to go Shaquille O'Neal as a top 5 player. Shaq is the most dominant player of all time. I mean, he was completely unstoppable on offense. He just got his way in the paint. He also could do it on the defensive end. His believe he averaged like 25 and 11 for his whole career. I mean, four NBA Finals appearances, 3-time NBA Finals MVP. He has some of the greatest playoff runs of all time, especially on the Lakers. I'm talking about completely dominant, and I think that rewards him a top 5 spot. It's not easy at all, but Shaq definitely the most dominant player of all time in my opinion. Some people will say Wilt. I think it's Shaq, just based on his better competition, and he was still able to just dominate offensively. And he did have some defensive presence as well. But yeah, Shaq, top 5. It's so hard. It's hard. But I think that's what I'm going with. Top 7. Wow. Top 7 is tough. I think Kobe is definitely top 7. A lot of Lakers players in this top 7. Kobe Bryant, 5 NBA Finals appearances, 2-time NBA Finals MVP. I mean, his longevity is insane. One of the greatest scorers of all time. I think he's definitely a top 3 scorer of all time. Definitely one of the greatest offensive players of all time. But that Mamba mentality is no joke. He was a defensive monster as well. Can't discredit that. Did not get off to the best start in his career. But again, he was only 18 when he was drafted. I think he was 17 actually. He might have been 17 when he was drafted. But yeah, Kobe Bryant quickly turned into an amazing player. Won 3 NBA championships back to back with Shaq. Did not win Finals MVP until his 29 NBA Finals, but still dominant offensively, great defensively. Obviously 81 points in the game, absolutely insane. And of course, rest in peace to the Mamba. Definitely one of the greatest players of all time. I would not be mad at you if you had Kobe top 5, maybe even top 3. Some people have Kobe top 3. Definitely one of the most respectable players of all time. But I have him top 7, and I think that's fair. Now, I do think I have to give respect to the old players of the game. It's just, I don't know if I'm going to go Wilt or Bill Russell here. I think I'm going to go Wilt. And here's why. Now, I know Bill Russell, dominant for his era. And I can't blame him for playing in his era. Right? He dominated what he was playing against. But Wilt was on a whole nother level of dominant. And like I mentioned, I think Shaq is the most dominant. I think Wilt is the second most dominant. I mean, come on, 100 points. I mean, 100-point game, 50-point games. I mean, 30 rebounds, and just absolutely insane. And I understand his competition was not amazing, but he was just wrecking his competition. And you combine his stats are amazing. But I mean, he also has some great accomplishments as well. I think he's a 13-time All-Star. He only won 2 championships. I mean, it's tough going up against Bill Russell's Celtics. They were just completely dominant. But still, even though he only has 2 championships, dominant. He averaged 50 points in a season. So, I mean, that's absolutely insane. Nobody's ever going to touch that, not even close. So, competition, not that good. I got to pay respects to the founders and the OG GOATs of the game in Wilt Chamberlain. Top 10. I think top 10 is straightforward. Larry Bird is definitely top 10. I know you could argue Larry Bird is top 7 as well, but it's just hard. I would have him definitely at like 8. If not 7 if it wasn't for Wilt. But Larry Bird is one of the greatest shooters of all time. One of the greatest scorers of all time. I don't know if you heard that story about how he would tell his players what he would do and how he would do it, and then he would go out and do it. That's just a bad man. Larry Bird's a bad man. I mean, I believe he has 3 NBA championships. 3 championships, I believe. I believe he went to 5 finals, 5 NBA finals, 3-time NBA champion. He's a 2-time finals MVP, I know that for sure. He has again amazing stats. 24 points per game. He was rebounding as amazing as well, like 10 rebounds per game. He could pass the ball. He could do it all, really. Larry Bird, absolute legend. And definitely, I think he deserves a top 10 spot for sure, without question. Hakeem Olajuwon is definitely top 10. People sleep on Hakeem. it was hard for Hakeem to make NBA Finals and win NBA championships with Michael Jordan in the league. But trust me, once Michael Jordan left for retirement, Hakeem Olajuwon dominated. Two-time NBA champion. Both of those were when Michael Jordan retired. So, I mean, he was a complete force. Dominant. Great skill set on the offensive end. He had a great defensive presence as well. Two-time NBA All-Star, one-time MVP. And his playoff runs, oh my goodness. I believe he averaged like 30 points, 11 rebounds, and I want to say 4 blocks over the course of the playoffs. 4 blocks. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, he won the NBA championship that year. Hakeem Olajuwon, I think he's underrated in terms of his all-time greatness. He is definitely a top 10 player all time, and I'm going to respect that here. Now, top 10, I don't think Steph is top 10, and I don't think KD is top 10 just yet. I'm debating if I should go Tim Duncan or Bill Russell. I think it's Bill Russell. I think I'm going Bill Russell again, paying respect to the older players in the league. Bill Russell has 11 NBA championships. That is just ridiculous. And I know, again, you're going to talk about his competition, but again, he was dominant, and that was the era he played in. He dominated that era, and everybody talks about Bill Russell's 11 rings. That's absolutely insane. He had a great team as well. But yeah, he was definitely the best player, and he could do it on both ends of the court. I mean, talk about his offense, his athleticism. He was a menace on defense. People don't really talk about that, how he was a great defensive player. 5-time NBA MVP as well. I mean, he was a rebounding monster. He was aggressive on the boards. So I got to pay Bill Russell some respect. And also, rest in peace, Bill Russell. One of the greatest players of all time. Top 10. Top 13, Tim Duncan. I mean, we have 3 players left. I'm going to rank them. Tim Duncan, I would say, is 11. Tim Duncan, 5 NBA championships. Amazing career. Amazing time in San Antonio. And he had a very long and successful career. Really was dominant from a young age. And I know he wasn't the flashiest player of all time, but trust me, he got it done. 15-time All-Star. I believe he's a 2-time MVP. Again, yeah, 5-time NBA championship. 3-time Finals MVP, I want to say. So yeah, Tim Duncan was a complete monster. And talk about his defense. Tim Duncan was amazing defensively. A ton of all defensive first team selections. So hats off to Tim Duncan. He is definitely an all-time great. And some people have him top 10, maybe even top 7. But I mean, it's hard. And I think 11 is fair. Next is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is definitely up here on this list. He's definitely top 13 all time. For sure, I'm glad that he's here. Steph Curry, I mean, obviously unanimous MVP, 4-time NBA champion. I believe he's been to 6 finals by now. I mean, the greatest shooter of all time, not even close at this point. And he just got his first finals MVP last year. So he definitely has the resume. Again, being one of the greatest shooters of all time, one of the greatest ball handlers of all time. He deserves to be here. Yeah, I think at this point in his career, he has deserved, based on his accomplishments, to be one of the greatest players of all time. I know he's not the best defensively, but he's definitely not one of the worst defensive players of all time. So, Steph Curry, tremendous offensively, great accomplishments. He is 12th all time. And then, of course, last but not least, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a 2-time NBA champion and a 2-time Finals MVP. I mean, he is one of the greatest scorers of all time. His mid-range jumper is absolutely deadly. He's unguardable. Kevin Durant, I know a lot of people, including myself, did not like his move to Golden State, but I mean, he won some championships. Gotta give KD some respect as one of the best offensive players of all time. Very efficient as well. And right now he's on the Suns. We'll see if he can lead his team to another championship. But yeah, again, being one of the greatest scorers of all time, having those 2 championships and having those 2 Finals MVPs, I think Kevin Durant deserves to be top 13. I think he is 13th. Or is it top? Oh, he's 12th. Hold on. I think we have 12 players here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I'm tripping. 13 players. He's 13th all time. I think that's fair. And that would do it for the tier list. Now, again, it's very controversial, very tough to make, but I think it's respectable. I think I'm going with respectable. May not be accurate. I mean, of course it's subjective, but a lot of people may disagree with me here, especially with Kobe. Some people may have Bird higher, Hakeem higher, Duncan higher. A lot of people have Jordan as the GOAT, so I know I'm definitely going to get flamed there, but I think this is my take, my reasoning. And again, I think it's solid. I think it does the job. And of course, I'm always open to feedback, what you think. So just let me know what you think about this tier list. But again, this is what I'm rocking with. I'll have another tier list soon. I think I might do an NBA MVP tier list, something along like the last decade or something. But that will do it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.